What if the future isn't waiting in science fiction, but rising in steel and concrete across our planet? Around the world, engineers are launching breakthroughs so bold, so futuristic, they redefine what civilization can survive and achieve. In the Netherlands, the Maasland-carrying storm surge barrier stands as a colossal guardian of the sea. Its twin gates, each rivaling the height of the Eiffel Tower, rotate shut to shield millions from North Sea storm surges, forming a critical link in the Delta Works defense system. In China, the Yong Wu water highway bends perception itself. When Poyang Lake swells, road and water fuse into a silver horizon, creating the uncanny illusion that vehicles are gliding across open water. And in Taiwan, Taipei 101 soars to 1,667 feet, once reigning as the tallest building on Earth. Engineered to withstand typhoons and earthquakes, its sheer vertical face has even drawn climber Alex Honnold into a gravity-defying ascent, turning extreme height into a confrontation with gravity itself. These are not isolated marvels scattered across a map. They are signals of a new era, where imagination becomes infrastructure and daring ideas solidify into reality. In this journey, we trace the breakthroughs reshaping our world and explore the awe-inspiring projects powerful enough to truly blow your mind. Lotus Temple. In the heart of New Delhi rises a structure that seems less constructed than unfolded from the earth itself. The Lotus Temple blooms in white marble, its design inspired by India's sacred lotus, a symbol of purity rising from murky waters. Completed in 1986, this Baha'i house of worship opened its doors to every faith, without sermons, idols, or ritual, inviting silence as a universal language. The temple is formed by 27 marble petals arranged in clusters of 3, creating 9 sides, a number that represents unity in Baha'i belief. It rises more than 110 feet high and is surrounded by 9 reflecting pools that help cool the air in Delhi's scorching summers. Its brilliant surface is clad in marble quarried from Greece, linking ancient Mediterranean stone to modern Indian engineering. The central prayer hall can accommodate around 2,500 people at once, yet no microphones interrupt the quiet. Each year, over 4 million visitors step inside, making it one of the most visited buildings on Earth. In a country of immense cultural and religious diversity, the Lotus Temple stands as an awe-inspiring fusion of geometry, climate science, spirituality, and architectural precision. Here, history, faith, and design converge into a single white blossom, proving that innovation is not only about height or steel, but about harmony. Taipei 101, also known as the Taipei Financial Center, rises from the heart of Taiwan as a monument to ambition and resilience. Completed in 2004, the tower stands 1,667 feet tall, once the tallest building in the world until 2009, when it was surpassed by the Burj Khalifa. Its architecture draws inspiration from the bamboo stalk, a symbol of strength and flexibility, expressed through 8 stacked sections of 8 floors each, representing prosperity and upward growth. Built at a cost of nearly $1.8 billion, the structure was engineered for an island shaped by seismic fault lines and seasonal typhoons. Near its summit hangs a tuned mass damper weighing 728 tons, designed to counter winds exceeding 150 miles per hour and absorb the tremors of earthquakes. High-speed elevators once ascended at nearly 37 miles per hour, transforming vertical distance into seconds of controlled acceleration. Even climber Alex Honnold has confronted its sheer facade, turning glass and steel into a test of balance and nerve. More than a financial landmark, Taipei 101 represents a breakthrough in seismic engineering and cultural symbolism, proving that true height is measured not only in feet, but in endurance. Ostankino Tower. Piercing the skyline of Moscow like a concrete needle, Ostankino Tower threads history, science, and ambition into one vertical line. Completed in 1967 to mark the 50th anniversary of the Soviet era, the tower rises 1,772 feet and once held the record as the tallest freestanding structure in the world until 1976, when it was surpassed by the CN Tower. Engineered by Nikolai Nikitin, its flared base resembles a cluster of inverted lilies, supporting more than 55,000 tons on a foundation only 15 feet deep, a daring structural calculation that redefined reinforced concrete design. Its main observation deck sits at roughly 1,125 feet, with enclosed and open-air platforms that can host more than 200 visitors at a time, offering panoramic views that stretch for dozens of miles across Moscow. More than 150 antennas crown the structure, broadcasting signals across vast territories and transforming the tower into a technological lighthouse. In 2000, an electrical short circuit ignited a fire at approximately 1,500 feet, burning for over 20 hours, causing 3 fatalities, halting broadcasts, and triggering a comprehensive reconstruction of safety systems. After years of restoration, the revolving Seventh Heaven restaurant complex reopened in stages beginning in 2016, restoring dining floors suspended above 1,100 feet and symbolizing the tower's return not only as infrastructure, but as experience. Today it stands as both a tourism magnet, welcoming hundreds of thousands annually, and a breakthrough of Cold War engineering, a reminder that every world record eventually yields to a higher ambition. Maisland Kering stands at the mouth of the Nieuwe Waterweg near Rotterdam as one of the most ambitious water defense systems ever engineered. Its creation traces back to the devastating 1953 North Sea flood, a catastrophe that killed more than 1,800 people in the Netherlands and forced the nation to rethink its relationship with the sea. Completed in 1997 as the final masterpiece of the Dutch Delta Works, this storm surge barrier shields millions living below sea level from tempests capable of raising water levels more than 10 feet above normal. Each of its 2 hollow steel gates stretches roughly 700 feet long and weighs close to 15,000 tons, towering like mechanical giants when swung into position. When forecasts predict a surge of approximately 10 feet above Amsterdam's reference level, a computerized system orders the gates to pivot shut within about 2 hours, sealing a span of nearly 1,500 feet across one of Europe's busiest shipping corridors. Designed to close on average once every 10 years, the barrier balances economic necessity with environmental threat. If confronted with a once-in-10,000-year storm scenario, failure could expose vast, low-lying regions to catastrophic flooding. A stark reminder that this futuristic safeguard operates at the fragile edge between engineering precision and the raw force of the ocean. Wonderworks turns the laws of physics into a playground, disguising science inside a building that appears flipped completely upside down. The first location opened in 1998 in Orlando, Florida, presenting itself as a laboratory launched skyward by a fictional experiment gone wrong, an architectural illusion engineered to disorient before visitors even step inside. Today, more than 6 major U.S. locations each feature over 100 interactive exhibits, blending entertainment with STEM education. Guests can stand inside hurricane-force winds reaching 74 miles per hour, lie across more than 3,000 nails to explore pressure physics, or experience a simulated earthquake measuring 5.3 on the Richter scale. Indoor ropes courses suspended nearly 30 feet above the ground and multi-level laser tag arenas convert abstract equations into physical challenge. General admission typically ranges from $30 to $40 for adults, around $25 to $35 for seniors and children, while children under 4 years old are admitted free. Some locations welcome more than 500,000 visitors annually, transforming curiosity into a measurable economic engine. Though engineered to strict safety standards, elevated ropes, elements, and motion simulators require harness systems and supervision, as minor injuries have occurred when procedures were ignored. Behind the inverted facade stands a calculated steel framework meeting American building codes while sustaining the illusion of gravity reversed. Here, science is not confined to display cases. It invites visitors to flip perspective and test the boundaries of balance, force, and imagination. Yong Wu Water Highway. Stretching across the shimmering expanse of Poyang Lake in Jiangxi Province, the Yong Wu Water Highway appears to defy geography itself. Completed in 2013, this elevated roadway extends roughly 3 miles, linking remote communities while skimming just a few feet above the lake's seasonal waterline. Poyang Lake, China's largest freshwater lake, can expand to more than 1,300 square miles during the rainy season, swallowing wetlands and reshaping the horizon. Engineers designed the highway with reinforced concrete piers anchored deep beneath the lakebed, calculating fluctuating water levels that can rise more than 20 feet between dry and flood seasons. During peak monsoon months, rising waters partially submerge the roadway, creating the illusion of cars gliding across open water, a surreal scene that draws thousands of tourists and photographers each year. Construction required months of hydrological surveys and soil stability testing, as soft sediment and unpredictable currents pose structural risks. Though built to withstand seasonal flooding, rapid water surges and reduced traction during heavy rain have led to temporary closures and minor traffic incidents. Officials advise drivers to reduce speed below 25 miles per hour during high water conditions and to avoid travel when visibility drops. Yong Wu Water Highway is not merely a road. It is a negotiation between infrastructure and a living lake, where engineering must adapt to nature's shifting boundaries. Abraj Al Bait Click Tower. Rising beside the Grand Mosque in Mecca, the Abraj Al Bait clock tower damages the desert skyline with a scale that borders on the astronomical. Completed in 2012, the central tower soars to approximately 1,972 feet, making it one of the tallest buildings on Earth and the tallest clock tower ever constructed. Its clock faces measure about 143 feet in diameter, each illuminated by millions of LED lights visible from more than 15 miles away. The entire Abraj Al Bait complex cost an estimated $15 billion, encompassing 7 towers built to accommodate hundreds of thousands of pilgrims visiting Islam's holiest city each year. Construction unfolded over nearly 8 years, requiring continuous coordination to manage extreme heat that can surpass 110 degrees Fahrenheit, and the logistical pressure of building steps from one of the world's busiest religious sites. At its summit sits a crescent structure weighing roughly 75 tons, while observation decks and a lunar exhibition center overlook the Kaaba below. High winds, intense desert storms, and the immense concentration of visitors demand advanced crowd management systems and structural monitoring to prevent catastrophe. Abraj Al Bait is more than a clock marking prayer times. It is a fusion of faith, engineering, and vertical ambition on a scale few cities on Earth could attempt. Raffles city Chongqing rises at the dramatic confluence of the Yangtze and Jialing rivers, redefining what a skyline can be in one of China's most mountainous megacities. Completed in phases by 2019, this vast development spans more than 8 million square feet, anchoring terrain where elevation can shift by hundreds of feet within a single mile. Designed by architect Moshe Safdie, the complex features 8 towers, 4 of which are fused at the summit by a horizontal skybridge known as the Crystal, stretching roughly 980 feet across the air at a height of about 820 feet. The mixed-use development integrates offices, residences, a luxury hotel, and a retail podium capable of welcoming tens of thousands of visitors daily. Observation decks within the Crystal offer sweeping views over steep hillsides and winding waterways that define Chongqing's vertical geography. Raffles City stands as a futuristic experiment in vertical urbanism, where architecture does not merely adapt to geography, it bridges it, suspending human space high above converging rivers. The sphere. Rising from the Las Vegas desert like a planet suspended above the Strip, the sphere reshapes the skyline through pure geometry and digital light. Opened in 2023, the structure stands approximately 366 feet tall and stretches about 516 feet wide, making it the largest spherical building ever constructed. Its exterior is wrapped in more than 1.2 million programmable LED pucks, capable of transforming the surface into a luminous globe, visible for miles across Nevada's night horizon. Inside, a monumental 16K resolution LED display spans nearly 160,000 square feet, enclosing up to 18,000 seats within a seamless visual environment. The internal acoustic system uses advanced beamforming technology, directing sound with pinpoint accuracy so that audio can shift location without distortion across the massive dome. With crowds gathered beneath a fully enclosed digital canopy, safety systems include high-capacity evacuation corridors, redundant power supplies, and integrated fire suppression networks built into the curved framework. This structure does not merely host performances. It becomes an engineered atmosphere, a breakthrough where architecture, physics, and perception converge inside a single illuminated sphere. Icon of the Seas towers above the Atlantic like a floating metropolis, redefining the scale of modern maritime engineering. Launched in 2024, the vessel stretches roughly 1,198 feet in length and rises about 248 feet above the waterline, making it the largest cruise ship ever constructed. Weighing approximately 250,000 gross tons, it is powered by liquefied natural gas propulsion systems designed to reduce emissions compared to traditional marine fuels. The ship can accommodate nearly 7,600 passengers, along with more than 2,300 crew members, forming a temporary city at sea. On board are 8 distinct neighborhoods, over 40 dining venues and bars, and a water park featuring 6 towering slides suspended high above open ocean. Ticket prices for multi-night voyages typically range from around $1,500 to more than $10,000, depending on suite category and itinerary. It is a breakthrough in floating urban design, where engineering ambition and oceanic risk travel side by side. Shanghai Tower. In the heart of Shanghai's financial district, the Shanghai Tower coils upward like a glass hurricane frozen in motion. Completed in 2015, it rises to an astonishing 2,073 feet, making it the tallest building in China and the second tallest on Earth at the time of its debut. Its twisting facade rotates nearly 120 degrees from base to crown, a deliberate aerodynamic strategy that reduces wind loads by roughly 24%, crucial in a region battered by seasonal typhoons. Inside, the tower contains 128 floors, served by some of the fastest elevators ever built, accelerating to about 46 miles per hour. The double-skin curtain wall forms a vertical buffer zone, cutting energy consumption by an estimated 21% compared to conventional skyscrapers of similar size. Yet height is never just glory. Engineers had to anchor the structure with more than 900 foundation piles driven deep into Shanghai's soft alluvial soil, guarding against subsidence and seismic risk. From its observation deck, visitors look down on a city of more than 24 million people, a reminder that this shimmering spiral is both triumph and test, where gravity, wind, and human ambition meet in constant negotiation. Beneath the calm surface of Veluwemeer, engineering performs a quiet sleight of hand. The Veluwemeer Aqueduct, completed in 2002, allows water to pass over land traffic rather than the other way around. Stretching roughly 82 feet across and plunging about 10 feet deep, this inverted bridge carries small vessels above a roadway linking the mainland to Flevoland, the world's largest artificial island reclaimed from the sea. Its purpose is elegantly practical. Instead of raising a drawbridge thousands of times each year, engineers created a fixed water corridor that keeps both cars and boats moving with minimal delay. Built in a nation where nearly 1/3 of the land lies below sea level, the structure reflects centuries of Dutch hydrological mastery. Yet water is never tame. Shifting sediment, fluctuating lake levels, and the constant pressure of surrounding polders demand vigilant maintenance. Here, gravity is reversed, perspective is deceived, and the Netherlands once again proves that survival can be designed in concrete and steel. The Museum of the Future stands in Dubai as a gleaming torus of steel and script, a ring-shaped question posed to the next century. Opened in 2022, it rises about 256 feet above Sheikh Zayed Road, its elliptical void symbolizing the unknown future humanity has yet to write. The exterior is formed from more than 1,000 uniquely fabricated stainless steel panels, created through parametric modeling and robotic precision. Flowing Arabic calligraphy wraps the facade, functioning as both structure and skylight, while guiding daylight into nearly 324,000 square feet of immersive interior space. Inside, visitors conceptually travel to the year 2071. Exploring artificial intelligence, bioengineering, climate resilience, and space habitation through interactive simulations and research labs. With almost no straight lines in its geometry, even inch-level construction errors could have compromised the entire shell. Here, imagination curves boldly forward, anchored firmly by mathematics and engineering discipline. Sidu Bridge stretches across a vertigo-inducing gorge in Hubei province, suspended high above the Sidu River like a steel horizon line. Completed in 2009, it soars roughly 1,627 feet above the valley floor, earning the title of the highest bridge in the world at the time of its opening. Its main span measures about 2,900 feet, connecting isolated mountain communities within central China, once divided by hours of dangerous road travel. Constructing it was an act of calculated risk. With cliffs plunging nearly a third of a mile below, engineers used rockets to launch pilot lines across the canyon, allowing suspension cables to be drawn into place. Workers operated hundreds of feet above jagged terrain, exposed to powerful crosswinds and unpredictable mountain weather. Yet its breathtaking height remains a constant reminder that gravity is always present, pressing silently beneath every passing tire. Turning Torso rises beside the Baltic shoreline of Malmö, like a frozen motion in steel and glass. Completed in 2005, the tower reaches about 623 feet, making it the tallest building in Scandinavia at the time of its completion. Designed by architect Santiago Calatrava, the structure was inspired by a sculpture of a human body twisting upward. The skyscraper is divided into 9 stacked sections, each rotating slightly until the top turns about 90 degrees from the base. More than 140 apartments sit inside, built around a reinforced concrete spine that keeps the spiraling structure stable against powerful coastal winds. Beyond housing, the tower symbolizes Malmö's shift from an industrial shipbuilding port to a modern, knowledge-driven city. What appears to twist effortlessly is actually a precise balance of physics, engineering, and geometry holding the entire vertical sculpture in place. Oriental Pearl Tower rises from the skyline of Shanghai like a futuristic sculpture of spheres balanced on slender columns. Completed in 1994, the tower climbs roughly 1,535 feet, making it one of the tallest television towers in Asia when it opened. The structure stands on three massive cylindrical columns that anchor the tower deep into the soft soil of the Huangpu River Delta. Inside, visitors ride high-speed elevators to observation decks located about 863 feet above the city, where glass floors reveal the dizzying drop below. Originally built as a broadcast center for television and radio signals across eastern China, the tower quickly evolved into a symbol of Shanghai's rapid modernization. Strong typhoon winds sweeping in from the East China Sea can push against the tower's curved surfaces, forcing engineers to design flexible structural systems that allow the giant pearls to subtly sway rather than resist nature's force. Tropical Islands Resort sits quietly in the countryside of Brandenburg, yet inside its enormous dome, the climate feels closer to the equator than to Northern Europe. The resort occupies a colossal hangar originally built in 2000 for cargo airships, stretching about 1,180 feet long, 699 feet wide, and nearly 356 feet high. Within this steel shell lies one of the largest indoor rainforests on Earth, home to more than 50,000 tropical plants and trees imported from distant climates. Artificial lagoons, sandy beaches, and water slides fill an interior area of roughly 72,000 square yards, large enough to fit several football fields under one roof. The dome's scale allows hot air to circulate naturally, maintaining temperatures around 86 degrees Fahrenheit year-round, even while winter snow falls outside across rural Germany. Visitors float through warm pools, wander indoor jungles, and sleep in themed huts beneath a ceiling that once sheltered experimental aviation dreams. Today, millions of travelers arrive annually, drawn by the surreal contrast, a tropical vacation thriving beneath Europe's largest freestanding roof. City of Arts and Sciences stretches like a futuristic archipelago across the former riverbed of the Turia in Valencia. Construction began in 1996, transforming a dry flood channel into one of Europe's most ambitious cultural science parks. The complex extends nearly 2,600 feet along reflective pools and gardens, designed primarily by architect Santiago Calatrava. The eye-shaped hemispheric houses an IMAX dome planetarium, while the Science Museum spans roughly 400,000 square feet, filled with hands-on exhibits exploring physics, biology, and technology. Nearby stands the Oceanographic, the largest aquarium in Europe, containing more than 45,000 marine animals, representing ecosystems from the Arctic to the Red Sea. Inside its underwater tunnels, visitors walk beneath sharks and rays, gliding through tanks holding nearly 11 million gallons of water. Today, millions of travelers wander its white arches and mirrored pools, exploring a place where architecture behaves almost like living anatomy. Three Gorges Dam rises across the vast current of the Yangtze River like a concrete continent restraining one of Asia's longest waterways. Located in Hubei province of China, the project officially reached full operation in 2012, after nearly 2 decades of massive construction. The dam stretches about 7,700 feet across the river and stands roughly 607 feet tall, forming a reservoir that extends more than 370 miles upstream through the famous Three Gorges region. Behind its walls sits the largest hydroelectric power station on Earth, capable of producing about 22,500 megawatts of electricity. Each year, the facility generates more than 100 terawatt-hours of electricity, enough to power entire megacities while reducing coal consumption across central China. Seasonal floods, sediment buildup, and shifting geological pressures make the dam not just a structure, but an ongoing experiment in balancing nature's force with human engineering ambition. Falkirk Wheel turns quietly above the canals of Falkirk, performing one of the most unusual mechanical movements in modern civil engineering. Opened in 2002, it became the world's first and only rotating boat lift, designed to reconnect the historic Forth and Clyde Canal with the Union Canal after decades of disconnection. The structure stands about 115 feet tall and resembles a giant double-headed Celtic axe, slowly turning in the air. Two water-filled gondolas hold boats while the wheel rotates exactly 180 degrees, lifting vessels smoothly between canals separated by roughly 79 feet of height. Each gondola always weighs nearly the same because a floating boat displaces its own weight in water, meaning the entire mechanism requires surprisingly little energy. Thousands of visitors arrive each year to watch boats rise slowly through the sky, guided by a machine that turns gravity into choreography. Chengdu SKP Park hides much of its architecture beneath the landscape of Chengdu, creating a retail environment where nature and urban design blend almost seamlessly. Opened in 2022, the complex covers roughly 500,000 square meters, making it one of the largest underground commercial spaces in the world. Instead of towering upward, most of the development sinks several stories below ground, while the surface above forms a public park with walking paths, reflective water features, and green terraces. Sunlight enters through massive glass skylights, allowing natural illumination to reach retail halls nearly 50 feet below the park's surface. Inside, more than 1,000 stores, restaurants, and cultural spaces stretch across interconnected corridors designed to feel like an indoor city district. Here, commerce operates quietly beneath the park, while above ground, joggers, families, and cyclists move through a landscape that hides an entire subterranean metropolis below their feet. Ping An Finance Center pierces the skyline of Shenzhen like a steel needle rising from one of the fastest-growing cities on Earth. Completed in 2017, the tower reaches approximately 1,965 feet, making it one of the tallest buildings in the world and the second tallest in China. Its design narrows as it climbs, with 8 faceted sides wrapped in stainless steel panels that help the structure cut through powerful coastal winds blowing in from the South China Sea. Inside, the skyscraper contains more than 4 million square feet of offices, conference spaces, and observation areas stacked within 115 floors. High-speed elevators race upward at nearly 33 feet per second, carrying visitors toward an observation deck located around 1,800 feet above the streets below. Every bolt, beam, and aerodynamic angle works together to stabilize a structure that stands nearly a third of a mile above ground, quietly resisting gravity and coastal typhoon winds. Tianjin CTF Finance Center rises above the coastal skyline of Tianjin like a smooth glass blade shaped by wind and gravity. Completed in 2019, the tower reaches about 1,739 feet, placing it among the tallest buildings ever constructed in China. Unlike rigid rectangular skyscrapers, the structure gently curves as it climbs through 97 floors, its aerodynamic form designed to reduce powerful wind forces sweeping inland from the Bohai Sea. This subtle, twisting geometry helps stabilize the tower while also lowering structural stress on the building's steel and concrete frame. Inside, the vertical complex contains nearly 2 million square feet of offices, luxury residences, and a high-rise hotel stacked within a narrow footprint. Here, architecture behaves almost like fluid physics, shaping a skyscraper that bends slightly with the atmosphere rather than resisting it outright. OPPO Research and Development Center rises along the skyline of Shenzhen as a looping ring of glass towers connected high above the ground. Completed around 2022, the futuristic complex stretches roughly 1,600 feet across its circular form, creating a continuous, elevated corridor linking 4 slender towers. Designed by OPPO as a global innovation headquarters, the structure contains nearly 1.8 million square feet of laboratories, offices, and collaborative research spaces. Inside, thousands of engineers work on next-generation mobile imaging systems, battery technology, and wireless communication platforms. High-speed elevators and sky bridges allow researchers to move between towers in seconds, turning the entire structure into a vertically integrated laboratory. Here in Shenzhen, one of the world's fastest-growing technology capitals, architecture becomes part laboratory, part symbol of the digital future rising into the sky. 1,000 trees Shanghai rises along the banks of Suzhou Creek in Shanghai, like a stepped, concrete mountain unexpectedly covered in forest. The project's first phase opened in 2021, transforming a former industrial warehouse district into an architectural experiment that blends urban density with living greenery. The structure stretches nearly 1,000 feet along the waterfront and contains more than 300,000 square meters of retail, offices, galleries, and public terraces stacked across multiple levels. Its most striking feature is the forest above. Roughly 1,000 trees and 250,000 smaller plants grow from large cylindrical columns rising through the building like giant concrete planters. Designed by British architect Thomas Heatherwick, the complex resembles a terraced hillside rather than a conventional shopping center. In Shanghai's rapidly expanding skyline, the project feels less like a building and more like a vertical landscape growing directly from concrete.